Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled people. In today's episode, you won't stop smoking on your porch at night? Guess we'll burn our house down. I'm not moving until the police get here. So a lady was at my back gate after I lost my cat. I just found my cat, my new entitled neighbor tried to get her taken away. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You won't stop smoking on your porch at night? Guess we'll burn our house down. Hi all. Just found out why there were a bunch of flashing lights and loud sirens on the street behind mine last night, and I am gobsmacked. The family that used to live in the house behind mine, whoever so helpfully called the police on me after I gave them a heads up about their Wi-Fi, has moved out. A new family has moved in. Our houses are separated by a couple hundred feet and a brush line. I found this out because they came to talk to me last week about my smoking a joint before I go to bed on my porch, and how the smell is terrible and it's bothering them, and I just need to not do that. Note, I smoke precisely 1/2 gram joint on my screen and porch before bed, perhaps 3 to 4 times a week. The likelihood that any of the smoke from that is going anywhere near their house is slim to none. I told the new back neighbors I'll turn a ceiling fan on to thin out the smell, but I'm not going to get eaten alive by bugs just before bed because they don't want me to smoke on my own property. Porch is screened in. I guess this answer didn't satisfy them, because last night one of them came up with a cunning plan to get back at me. They dug a hole in their lawn, built a fire with a bunch of green pine wood so it'd be extra smoky, started the fire, and then put a box fan pointed at my porch next to the fire and went inside. 3 guesses what happened. If you guessed they set their own house on fire, you would be correct. One of their next door neighbors called 911 because some cinders from the fire set my back neighbor's house on fire. I have no idea how much the fire damaged the house, only that the people who lived there got arrested and given an impressive set of fines for negligence and a bunch of other things. Did I mention my county is under a fire weather warning and all of those fines are multiplied? The juiciest part, and the reason I decided to post on here about it, was one of the cops was talking to the neighbors who were going on and on about the awful pot smell that I was causing and making the house uninhabitable. Cop sniffs a little bit and tells them that's not marijuana, that's a skunk. That's not marijuana, that's a skunk. Made me laugh so hard. I legit snorted when I read that bit. To be fair, skunk weed is difficult to tell apart from a skunk since we often get the nasty smell associated from running one over. Learned the hard way that a regular customer wasn't sprayed but just partook in that specific type of pot. I was incredibly naive back then. But how stupid do they have to be to commit arson in fire weather? They were outright going to kill you if the wind hadn't likely shifted the embers above the box fan. Imagine you had gone to bed and your other neighbors weren't home to see the fire. Smoke inhalation kills people faster than the flames themselves. What a bunch of bleeping idiots. I think the smells are so different. Am I the weird one? These morons were actually complaining about a skunk and didn't know it? I'm not moving until the police get here. So I'm a shift supervisor for a retail drugstore chain. This happened yesterday in my parking lot. I don't know what this is called, so I'm just going to call it the drive path. In an enclosed parking lot, you have parking spots on both sides. In the middle are 2 unmarked lanes where cars drive to get in and out. Those lanes are what I'm calling the drive path. I'm doing my usual tasks in the store when a customer asks me to call the cops. Apparently there is a verbal fight going on in the parking lot. Just as I'm making my way out, the phone rings asking for a manager. An employee tells me that there was a minor fender bender in the parking lot involving a white and orange car. One of the cars is blocking the drive path, orange. Orange is blocking her and she can't get out. She just wants to go home and to please call the cops. I step outside and all I hear is yelling, so I call the police. The police dispatcher tells me she just spoke to one of the parties involved in the accident and told them to just trade information. Apparently the situation has escalated, so she'll send a patrol car out. I then remember there are cameras in the parking lot. Orange is still blocking the drive path and refusing to move. Unfortunately, it took the police an hour to come. During that hour, we get numerous customer complaints. Due to the volatile situation, we decide not to intervene for our safety. During that hour, quite a few near accidents happened due to cars having to drive around orange. During that hour, we call the police again. Unfortunately, there are more pressing needs. White calls us asking if we have video footage of the accident. We say we do, however, we can only give it to the police or her insurance. White is satisfied and thanks us. This is just what other employees and customers told me when outside. White is constantly telling Orange to please park her car in a parking spot. Orange keeps yelling swear words and calling White racist. After a while, White starts yelling swear words as well. Orange says something about not having insurance and recently losing her husband. Orange keeps refusing to move until the cops get there so the cops can determine who is at fault. From what we saw on video, the accident was a minor tap from both cars backing out. No serious damage, just a few scratches and a dent. On camera, we finally see a police car pull in and immediately tells Orange to move her car. Orange complies. Video does not have audio, so we don't know exactly what was said. We then see the cop talking with both White and Orange for 10 minutes. White leaves first. Cop has a talk with Orange. Cop waits for Orange to leave before leaving himself. At no point did the cop come into the store or ask to see the video. Edit: I am fully aware that I'll be contacted by the insurance companies. I've saved a few copies. As for who was responsible, I'll leave that to the insurance companies. It's not very clear cut. I'm pretty confident Orange got in trouble with the police, at least for impeding drivers, probably also for no insurance if bystanders heard correctly. Whether it was a ticket or just a warning, I don't know. Remember, the cameras do not have audio. The police officer was there for about 15 to 20 minutes, so something happened. Private parking lot, civil issue, not criminal. Officer probably facilitated the exchange of information and left without taking a report. I hope White presses charges for false imprisonment. No, it isn't. Orange car is committing a felony, that's criminal. Wow. I was invested in this and it just kind of ended, with no payoff. I want my 5 minutes back. About as climatic as the ending to Leave the World Behind. So a lady was at my back gate after I lost my cat. So this happened recently, like a week ago recently. So a few days ago, my cat went missing. I was really sad because she had been here for most of my life and was basically my child at this point. Every day I would go out and yell for her, look around the block, and leave out food in a bowl for her in case she came around and was hungry. Monday, I went out and yelled for her again, not knowing I had a new neighbor a few houses down, since they didn't have a moving van, and she wasn't familiar with my situation. The following conversation went something like this. This is just summary of the argument we had. Neighbor, what is all the screaming for? Me, I'm sorry, I didn't know someone had moved here. You see, my cat went missing a few days ago. Neighbor, I do not appreciate all the yelling. I didn't move here with my autistic daughter for you to scream about some cat. We were told this was a quiet neighborhood, not some place where people scream in the middle of the night. Me, I'm sorry ma'am, I'm just looking for my cat, I can be quieter. Neighbor, you'd better be quieter, or I will file a noise complaint. So after that I kept looking around for my cat again, leaving out food, and calling for her a little quieter. But even that wasn't enough for my entitled neighbor. Yesterday, there was another incident. I had been walking around the neighborhood a lot, more than usual, and my neighbor didn't like it, so she came at me again. Excuse me. I have seen you walking around here too much, what is your problem? Me, I'm sorry, I'm just looking around houses for my. Ian, you're looking at my house? You are spying on me and my daughter? Me, no, ma'am, I'm looking for my cat. She has been missing for a week or so. Ian, I cannot believe you have been looking into homes and been very creepy around this neighborhood. I'm calling the police. Story short, she called the police, I walked off, and kept looking for my cat. I found my cat a few blocks down, and saw the entitled neighbor still outside waiting for me. The police are coming for you, she yelled at me. The police never showed up. The police are coming for you, she yelled at me. The response: I wish you had said, we were told this was a quiet neighborhood, not some place where people scream in the middle of the night. You'd better be quieter, or I will file a noise complaint. Sorry about the woman, but I'm so glad you found your cat. It is never easy losing a pet, so I'm glad you found yours. Yikes. Who is she to declare how much a person is allowed to walk around on a public street? I might be a bit concerned about someone looking around houses. But looking for a lost pet is a valid reason for doing that. If someone told me that, I'd probably help them look and certainly wouldn't scream at them. I'm glad you found your kitty. Okay, but isn't the standard response after the second confrontation, EFF you and EFF your kid, who died and made you Stalin? I just found my cat, my new entitled neighbor tried to get her taken away. So I found my cat on Wednesday, and found my new crazy neighbor. I just posted here yesterday about this, but this can't be an edit for that, this is a whole new level of crazy neighbor. So today, I was walking down the street with my cat on a leash. She is an outdoor cat and she likes to go on walks, I know, crazy, and we see my neighbor, now known as Ian, walking with her autistic daughter. We keep walking along and we cross paths with her, and my cat, being the sweetheart she is, she rubs up against Ian and her daughter. The daughter's cool, I like her because she bent down to pet my cat and said kitty, it was adorable, but Ian on the other hand, she screamed and pulled her daughter away. Ian, your cat just bit me. She said even though my cat doesn't bite, there was to mark, and I saw no blood anywhere. And, get that wild animal away from me now. Me, firstly, this is a domestic outdoor cat, secondly, my cat has never bitten anyone and is a sweetheart. Ian, well, she bit me, I am going to file a report to the local heath department, and I'm going to get your cat taken away. Me, ma'am, I have tried to be respectful, but my cat doesn't bite. If you did actually get bit or scratched, you should go and wash it out. Ian, this neighborhood isn't safe with that cat around. It's a devil. She made a call to the local heath department and said something about a serious wild animal bite. I listened in, and once I got my info, I left. Now I'm waiting to see if the people are actually going to come and take my cat away after I just got her back. Honestly, I think they are just going to take my cat away to quarantine her if they think Ian did actually get bit. Edit, no one ever came, but yesterday I saw that someone dumped snail bait into yard, where I now let my cat play instead of taking her on walks. She almost ate some, and if you didn't know, snail bait is a poison that is meant to kill snails and slugs. It has no antidote and can very quickly lead to death in pets. I would call the police, but I don't have cameras to prove that Ian did it. I think you might need to make Kitty an indoor cat if you don't want to see her come to an unfortunate end. Walk her daily, but make sure she is inside if you are not outdoors with her. Maybe build a cattery. Definitely, a neighbor hates animals and accidentally drops a bunch of pills that smell like meat because they were accidentally dropped in bacon grease. Happens too often. If they're willing to lie and try to get animal control involved, it's sadly not impossible that they'll be willing to escalate. Should be an indoor cat regardless. Leaving your cat outdoors is terrible for the local wildlife. I just read the first half with your lost cat and I'm very happy that you found her. Also, what's wrong with this neighbor? Most cats don't bite directly, especially most cats that come to you on the street and want to be pet. I never got bitten by any of them. Also, even if she was bitten, it's just a small cat bite. As long as it's not a stray cat, nothing will happen. Did your neighbor even pet your cat? It sounded like only the daughter was petting your cat. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.